All right, welcome everybody to the steering committee monthly meeting. Today is May 2nd. Again, this meeting would normally take place the last week of April, but due to just the next couple of months and how busy they are, I moved this meeting to, again, the beginning of May that we're having right now, and then the next steering committee will be, again, the first week of June following Consensus 2024, which we'll talk a little bit about later. Cool. Much appreciate everybody that's joining us today. And again, everybody that's going to be listening in later. I know it's been a very, very busy period with a lot going on in the community. I'm going to get us started with our typical agenda. So again, all steering committee notes, transcripts and recordings can be found from previous meetings in the README table. I will add there is a public link in the drive that anybody has access to for the most recent recording for the last steering committee, but Arweave is who we use to manage these recordings, has had a surge in pricing, and so we'll have that up very soon. But if anybody needs access in the meantime to the previous recording, again, you can access it on the drive, or you can reach out to me, but that should be up in the next 2 days or by Monday, the latest. Again, we have a typical agenda that we go through where we start with reviewing, discussing, and addressing any community feedback. Then we go into reviewing of the projects list. This is where we look at the community and marketing as well as the product and engineering roadmaps, which are all, again, publicly available in GitHub. Following that, we look at any GitHub discussions where we focus on discussions that have a lot of comments, and we focus on discussions where participants from that discussion are currently here at the meeting. So again, there's a number of criteria for how we determine which discussions we will discuss, though that will be a focus of the steering committee. So again, following that, then we open it up to any questions. I would ask that we follow that structure because I know a number of folks might have updates or comments, concerns, but again, we'll just go through the agenda as it's structured, and then if anybody has anything they want to discuss, we can save that for the end. If anybody wants to drop any additional items that we'll have during open discussion, feel free to throw those in the chat, and then we'll note them for later. So to get us started with the typical agenda, I want to review and discuss and address any community feedback, grievances, or conflicts. Does anyone on this call have any issues related to the SIGs or working groups or the community in general that they want to discuss? Cool. I'll raise my hand for myself. The one thing that I've been looking at over the last couple of weeks is the Discord events. I know that there's been feedback from the community about the Discord events breaking. I do want to make it clear that the source of truth for all SIGs and working groups is the Akash website. On the development section, there is a calendar where you can track all the SIGs and working groups, and you can actually add it to your calendar and track these on a weekly or monthly basis. One thing that I'm trying to work out is how to improve or how to use the Discord events. Again, it's very, very buggy. Sent a number of support tickets out to Discord. I know a number of folks in other communities are going through the same issue. So that's one thing that I'm trying to improve on, so that folks are clear about when the meetings are, and again, are not solely reliant on events when sometimes it works seamlessly and other times it just seems to break for no reason whatsoever. So if anybody has any comments or feedback, feel free to send that to me. But again, we'll continue to find ways so that it's very, very clear on where and when SIGs and working group meetings are. Any other discussions or any other feedback around the SIGs and working groups that anybody wants to share right now? Cool. All right, moving along. The next part of the agenda is around reviewing of the projects list. This is a version that we tracked previously, but if you go to GitHub and then you go to the project section, there are 2 project boards that are public. These get managed and maintained by members of the community and the core team on a daily basis. So again, you can get real-time views as to what's going on in the community, both on the engineering and product side, as well as a community and marketing. Anything that, again, the community is working on or the core team is working on, you can track where it is, and whether it's in backlog, up next, or completed. So again, feel free, if you have any specific items that you want to discuss between steering committees or just in the community, look at those, the roadmap, and feel free to ask questions or leave feedback there. I know members of the community team are double booked for today, so I'm going to start off with the product and engineering roadmap. I know one big item that has been worked on was the network upgrade. That is something that was in testing, and again, as of, I believe, a couple hours ago, there was a successful network upgrade. So thank you to all the validators that upgraded the infrastructure. I'll hand it over to Scott or Artur to talk a little bit about where we are here today and some of the next steps. But again, that has been moved from testing to release as it is now live, and we are on version 0.34.1.
Thanks, Tyler. All right, yeah, so we have completed successfully network upgrade, which extends our the options for the deployment deposits. In the past, what was happening that whenever deployment is closed, the OZ authorization is cancelled pretty much. And that was sort of bottleneck for many use cases, and we were able to finally fix it. So this is live. Please enjoy using that. Other than that, there was one more feature related to the providers that we now support private registries. So pretty much if any deployment needs to access private Docker containers, they can do so. All of the documentation and updates to the console, as well as how to deploy it using the CLI, I believe, available. There is one issue on the console, which is, as Tyler mentioned, is being fixed right now, and we should have fix be on the production pretty soon, like I think in an hour or so. But yeah, other than that, I think that summarizes our network upgrade from the past. For the future, we are still on the track to do quite a few of them. One of things that we work in the background is preparation to the SDK migration, and we're still thinking and talking internally about which one of them we're going to do, either 47 or even maybe 50. So that is still in the discussions, and maybe in the next couple of weeks we should hopefully have a clarity on that. I think that covers it, Tyler. Back to you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Another thing that I just want to shout out, talking about some of the forward-looking work in the backlog section. I know that both the product team and the engineering team have developed a roadmap as they think about the rest of the year. And amongst those items have started to map out, again, some of the major projects that the core team is going to be working on. Obviously, there are some items that might be broken down into smaller projects and tickets. But again, please feel free to look at this roadmap and kind of track some of the major items that the core team is thinking about and working on. One other thing that has happened, I believe, since our last steering committee meeting is around open sourcing of Prador. I know some of the Prador folks are on the call here today. It's been great to work more closely with them, and I know that they've already started to open source Prador again into 3 repos that you can see and kind of track on the board. Deval, I believe you all are on this call. Is there anything that you want to add? Is there anything that you want to add? Again, it's been great having you as a part of the core team. And again, the Praetor team is actively working on open sourcing, again, the front end, back end security part. So Deval, I'll pass it over to you to talk about anything that you're working on.
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, our project consists of 3 depots, which is security, front end and back end. We open sourced security yesterday. We are going to open source front end and back end today or tomorrow, for sure. So yeah.
Excellent. Again, there will be, as soon as the open source portion is done and those repos are created, then there will be more projects that will be added to issues that'll be added as under those repos that folks that they'll be working on and folks from the community can also contribute to. Go ahead, Deval.
Yeah, we also added, sorry, we also added some of the issues from our roadmap to here. And based on the discussion with community and product and engineering team, we are going to move forward with them to up next and in progress. As of now, up next task for us is to study and test the K3S environment for a multi-node cluster. So we're doing that parallelly. So yeah.
Excellent. I think that's a great segue. And again, appreciate all the work the Praetor team is doing. Another item that is in testing, but I know that the mainnet upgrade has been a high priority, is an updated provider build process. This is something that Scott has been working on and has been using members of the community to test this provider build process. Deval just alluded to being in lockstep with, again, the rest of the core team to vet this new provider build process. There's a list of items in terms of, again, just vetting to make sure it works in all sorts of conditions and edge cases before we take next steps in updating documentation. So if there's anybody out there that is a provider and wants to get involved in, again, testing some of these new provider build process developed by Scott, feel free to drop a note in the SIG provider channel or just providers, and again, we can go from there. Just saw a message from DC North. Yep. Yeah. So again, these are the kinds of conversations that we will have in SIG providers, or we can drop specifically in the roadmap. One of the things that I've been urging insiders and everybody in the community to do is please participate in conversations. I know I just said this on the insiders call, so pardon me for repeating myself, but a number of people have very vocal opinions about the Akash community. Again, many of those things very positive, but when there's discussions or conversations about pushing the network forward, I would love if people can make those conversations public and respond to discussions. It's a very open community where people can collaborate and, again, can take constructive criticism, but it's much better served in a public setting, whether it be in Discord or whether it be in GitHub discussions versus me having to translate private messages. So I would urge anybody that's got an opinion about Praetor or anything on these roadmaps to just express it or just get involved in discussions. It goes a long way. Cool. Scott, I know we were talking a little bit about the provider build process. Is there anything that you want to add? I know that you've been pretty heads down this week with mainnet 11 upgrade, but is there anything you want to add about the provider build process, which is in testing currently?
So I'm not sure how cognizant all the members on this call would be to the provider build process that we're referring to, but essentially it's using procedures using K3S and install scripts, which literally takes the provider build process down to probably about a 10-minute complete build. What was that? May have been inadvert. Oh, no problem. So yeah, as I was saying, it literally takes the provider build process down to about a 10-minute process. And when I say the provider build process, that includes persistent storage. It includes if you have nodes with GPUs, or includes the install of GPUs and container runtime environments for GPUs. So across all that spectrum, it's taking it down to a 10 or 15-minute process. So we've been using this considerably internally. So during dev work, Archer, myself, and other members of the core team can now spin up complete Kubernetes clusters and working providers, again, with all the ancillary features, including IP leases and persistent storage and GPU support in like 10 or 15 minutes. So any of those in the audience that are familiar with the pre-existing build processes, you can imagine the power of being able to spin up Akash providers that quickly. So as Deval mentioned prior, I believe that the Prater build process has been using K3S in production for Akash providers for some time for single node deployment. So all in one scenario where you have collapse, control plane, and worker nodes, and just a single provider use. But there's been some hesitation and some concern about using K3S in multi-node environments. K3S is definitely being used in more and more enterprise scenarios over the last couple of years, and I think the Prater team primarily looked at this during their initial development processes a couple of years ago. So we're now taking a fresh look at that, and as soon as we can have some additional sanity checks that we're comfortable using K3S in multi-node environments, that's really the last stumbling block or possible hurdle before we release this to the general public. So anyone that's interested in experimenting with this, you can ping me directly in Discord, and I can show you where the documentation lives, so that you can experiment and be part of the test group yourselves. But yeah, we're definitely very excited about it, especially now with our acquisition of Prater and streamlining and making our processes cohesive with their processes, and using this very powerful and very quick build mechanism. We're definitely very excited to introduce it into production in the very near future.
Excellent. Does anyone have any questions about provider build process or anything Praetor related? Again, we'll have continued deeper conversation during SIG providers, so feel free to join that special interest group, or just get involved in Discord between meetings. Cool. I know that members of the Cosmos team aren't currently here because, again, they're heads down, but I do want to shout out the work that the Maxes have been doing in rebranding from CloudMos to Akash Console. Again, with the Maxes are part of the Overclock core team. The Akash Console will be in the future the tool for folks that want to deploy via the UX. So it'll be like, again, the same experience that folks have been used to with CloudMos, but now it'll be open source, where there'll be ability for more folks to contribute to the growth of console over time. I know that that rebrand work and refactor work is almost complete, where there will be a staging site available for testing starting next week, and then there will be a larger plan as it pertains to the rollout for the console, again, deploy tool over the next couple of weeks. So look out there. If anybody wants to get involved in early testing, again, feel free to reach out to myself or the Maxes, and we can get you involved in that when available. But I do want to shout out all the work that the Maxes have been doing and getting console ready. Cool. Again, we can talk about a number of things that are currently in progress that are being worked on by the core team, as well as items being worked on by the community. But with the mainnet upgrade happening today, I know that there has been just a lot going on. Is there anything on this board specifically that anybody wants to talk about in more detail today? One other thing you can look at is, again, inside some of these items and up next in backlog, you can also track milestones, again, especially on the engineering side. And there will be more items coming across different repos being added to this product and engineering roadmap. So much appreciate all the work led by, again, Anil and Artur in this transparency and all the work that's being released. So shout out to their leadership and just the community as a whole for all the work that they do. All right. Moving along, again, product and engineering roadmap has been covered. The community and marketing initiatives is next up. I know that there are a number of initiatives that are being worked on right now with, again, around events. So there's Akash Accelerate 2024. This gets updated in pretty frequently by Amanda as pertains to all that's going on. I believe that they're in meetings right now, but as of recently, and anybody here from the marketing side can correct me if I'm wrong, but live stream and the audio-visual team has been worked out. So again, as Adam prepares for some watch parties that will be happening around Akash Accelerate, there's been serious discussions and follow-up that live stream is going to be working, and there will be, again, video available following the one-day conference. Swag is in the process of being ordered for the event. So again, people that participate live or come to the event live will be able to leave with branded Akash network items that they can wear for the rest of the conference and just wear in their general lives. And there's a number of other items for, again, speakers. Speakers are being organized, and I believe there's speakers will be updated soon. There's been at least 5 or 6 confirmed, and a number of people have filled out the speaker application looking to speak at Akash Accelerate. So again, there's just so much going on Akash Accelerate. I do want to shout out all the work that Amanda, Adam, the marketing folks, as well as the partner that we're using for event management is doing as we prep for Akash Accelerate. It's going to be an exciting day on May 28th. And again, there will be some more updates in terms of watch parties if you can't be there live, or if you can be there live. Again, there's links available to register for the event. Cool. On the back of Akash Accelerate will be Consensus 2024, which as of recently, again, we will have Akash Network will have a booth at. Booth design has been finalized. Shout out to SIG Design and Dennis for all the work they have done there, and Zach as well for the messaging components and just general marketing leadership. So again, Consensus will be following Akash Accelerate, I believe the 29th through the 31st, hence why the next steering committee will be moved back a week. But again, as updates become available and as things continue to get paid out, there will be sheets available to the community to try to track against, again, the community pool spend for Consensus 2024 as well as Akash Accelerate 2024. Is there anything I'm missing out on, or does anyone have any questions on Consensus 2024 or Akash Accelerate 2024 before I continue on with some of these other items on the board? Cool. All right. I know the hackathon is next up. The hackathon has been running, I believe, for a little bit under a month. I'll attach a link here, but May 17th is the last day for the hackathon. I know a number of folks have reached out to me privately saying they were going to participate in the hackathon. So again, it's getting down to the time of submitting or making your submissions for the hackathon. Please follow the link via Dora Hacks to submit. If you see anybody in the community, and again, there's an entire section in Discord for the hackathon with teams that are being put together, projects that are being worked on. So again, feel free to get involved in the hackathon. Believe, again, there's about 15 days left. So time is winding down to participate in the hackathon with over 200,000 prizes in USD given out in AKT. So again, please feel free to get involved. Does anybody want to talk about the hackathon, or does anyone have any questions about the hackathon before we continue onward? Go ahead, Robert. Robert, if you're talking, you might be on mute.
Thank you so much, Ty. Always happens. Yeah, about the hackathon real quickly. We also having weekly workshops. Some insiders have helped us, and yeah, Scott, thank you so much. We had Anil last week. We had Secret Network talking about their sponsored track today, and next week we're gonna have two workshops. So one's happening on Wednesday. In charge, Damir Chimpa, Europlots, is in charge of that one, and the next one is on Thursday. So I just wanted to remind that. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you, Robert. Again, more updates will, I'm sure, be happening around the hackathon as we approach the deadline for the end, May 17th. So look out for more announcements from Adam and the hackathon team. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, hi guys. Sorry I missed yesterday's economic call. I wanted to ask this question before. Yeah, thanks, Chang. Just a question about, it's not about the Dora hacks, but mainly about the Dora hacks. So I've noticed they had a note on like as a validator, right? And they have like 100% fees, right? So my question is this like on the time of a hackathon, or is this, or you can fill me up on this, like why do they have 100% fees?
Yeah, I can jump in there for that, Andrew. It's a good question. Yeah, the Dora hacks validator specifically is on 100% fees because the fees are used to pay for their service essentially. And yeah, so the service as well as the bounties that are given out to just all the hackathon winners, so that the essentially the proceeds and commissions that they would collect go to operating, running their entire apparatus, in addition to the winnings, the prizes that get doled out.
So the prizes are included in those fees, right?
That's right, everything, prizes as well as just kind of running their operations, like the cost it takes to run the operations themselves.
Yeah, got it. Okay, thanks.
No, appreciate that question, Andrew. And again, that's certainly something that's being monitored, front of mind. But as Chang mentioned, everything in terms of rewards and all that kind of stuff comes from those 100% fees. Cool. Go ahead, Andrew.
So probably that's not of the community business. I think, like I'm assuming, right? Because the wallets that are sending the money to Dora hacks, like the staking, right? They've been sending stakings also to some of the jailed validators or inactive validators. Either plan to like restake all those tokens, basically.
Oh, if there's any jail, it should be definitely cleaned up. I think we should be clear on that, but we'll do another review for sure. Any delegations of jailed validators should definitely be cleaned up, 100%.
Yeah, because I just looked at it like today, and there were a bunch of jailed validators that's just tokens been staked off. So that's why I just thought. Okay, thanks, Jen.
Thank you, Andrew. I'll follow up with you offline about that. Cool. Robert, I know that you wanted to spend a little bit of time giving an update on Zeely. So I will hand it back to you to talk about the developer onboarding program, Zeely. So Robert, love to hear an update.
Sure, Ty. I'd be super happy to give you guys a quick update about the developer onboarding campaign on Zeely. Yesterday, sprint number 3 started. This is the third and last sprint of this campaign, as we requested in the proposal. And yeah, I just wanted to show you some quick stats, let you know about the new missions offerings and what's gonna happen next. Are we gonna continue? Are we gonna disregard this altogether? So we're gonna find out. If you don't mind, Ty, I will go ahead and share my screen real quick.
course.
Just if you don't mind. Thanks. One sec. Okay. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So let's start with the stats. This is the last 3 months. Well, I will start saying that we have learned a lot about Sealy, about the community, about the submissions, and especially Sealy, this tool. So the first thing I want you to see is that in the last 3 months, we have been able to onboard 211 new members. That doesn't account the members that came from the first pilot that we did on December and November, December. So yeah, the first two sprints, we have 211 members so far. You can see here on top, these are the quests that people have claimed. Some of them are paid, some of them are unpaid. So just wanted to let you know that. Here in this graphic, you can see the amount of members we got over time. The highest run up, the highest bull run, I don't know how to say it, was when we started the first sprint on March. We got like 100 members right away. And then slowly but surely, we've been able to keep growing. I just wanted to share, actually, yeah, we're going to continue. This is the third month. But what I wanted to share here with you guys is some, well, not issues, but some challenges that we, Benji and I, are facing, and hopefully you can let us know your feedback or what you think about this. So the first one is the retention of the members. Yeah, over 200 people, 300 members sounds really cool, but how we retain those members, it's the question that's on my mind like almost every day. I catch up on Discord, I send messages, uh, sometimes on Twitter, sometimes on Telegram. Thank you, Andrew, for your support on Telegram. Uh, but initially I thought it was gonna be a little bit easier to redirect like good talent from here to other groups in Akash. So if you have an idea or maybe some cool dynamic that we can do to recruit people from Sealy and make sure they do other things on Akash, let me know. Some missions we have done are about being a provider on Akash, deploy persistent storage on Akash, and some other missions. Those two are paid, but these that I'm gonna mention now are not paid. One is about making people go to GitHub and open up a discussion. That mission is unpaid, but we just want to teach people how is the process, whether it's a listing proposal or just a marketing collaboration. There is a process that needs to be followed. So we made that mission about taking it to GitHub. That's the name of the mission. Let me see if I can show it to you real quick. That's one. It's unpaid again. Another one that it's unpaid, it's the Akash Bounties page. We have a channel on Discord, which has been super active. That's amazing. But we decided, Benji and I decided to do this as a mission so people can go into here and see like a little context why we're doing this and where they need to go to make this happen. This one is for GitHub. The one for the bounties is here. Did you say Akash bounties? So yeah, people can go here, click on the link, and see what is in it for them through Sealy. Because I noticed that there are some people that are members on Sealy, but they're not very active on Discord. So they might not see when we post something on Akash Discord that is like unrelated to Sealy. So through Sealy, they can see more things. in case they're not on Discord. I've seen some members that ask question and they're like super new, like they started a mission and then they join Akash GitHub. Sorry, then they join Akash Discord to ask their questions. So something to think about. The last of the missions that is unpaid, I believe Zach is gonna like this one. It's join the newsletter subscriber. Here is the type form for Akash. So if people want to subscribe to the newsletter, uh, they can do it from here. They click on that, and Sealy lets me know if people do it, and I believe Zach can see if people sign up to that newsletter. These 3 missions are unpaid, and we believe it's gonna bring some different flavors, I guess, because we only had like paid missions in the past. So during the first month, we had like lots of tractions because we had like more missions. But on the second month, we had like lower engagement because, well, I believe because we tried to do harder missions and people were expecting easier missions. So we didn't get much engagement on month number 2. So on month number 3, we're kind of doing a combination between easy missions, harder missions, and unpaid missions. So let's see how that goes. So yeah, my concern, you saw the stats, the analytics already. My concern is about retention, and I already told you about what we're gonna do next in regards on this current campaign. If we're gonna continue or not, I'm waiting until this sprint ends, and Benji and I are gonna have a talk, and we're gonna decide if we're gonna continue. In the meantime, I'm already speaking with the guys from Galaxy. Galaxy, it's another tool similar to Sealy. However, their offering is a bit more robust. They offer more ways to create missions, and their analytics also goes deeper. This is what I have. Besides this, I have the missions that people do and the countries where people are coming from, which is like, it's okay, but I wanted more information. So yeah, let's see what Galaxy offers. And in any case, we do anything, we're gonna open up a discussion on GitHub, and we're gonna share the links, and hopefully you can guys join the discussion and let us know what you think. So maybe I said more than I thought I was gonna say, but let me know you have any questions, concerns, regrets, or any comments overall you wanna share with me.
Excellent. Thank you, Robert. And there's also, again, a working group for Zealy. I think the next meeting is in 2 weeks. So feel free to join the discussion, suggest missions. There's also a working group, Zealy channel in Discord. So feel free to get involved in the discussions. All right. Thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Sure.
All right. Moving on. Is there anything else on the community and marketing initiatives that anybody wants to discuss? There are actually 2 things. I'll move these up. There was some planning issue yesterday, but around proposal 242, creating an automated auditor with open source. I know that the Pi3 team led by Benji has been working on this. They gave an update an hour ago, and I think we'll reschedule a meeting for next week where they can demo. So again, feel free to track what's going on there. And then I know that Luna just joined the call. Luna started a discussion a little bit about donating the Terraform provider to the Akash network, which will include a transfer of ownership to the Akash network organization. So much appreciate Luna for that. We'll have a discussion after the mainnet upgrade happens where, again, a member of the core team we'll just connect with Luna to transfer some keys. But again, much appreciate Luna for doing that, and I'll add that to the board that's tracked in the community issues. I'll make sure it gets added to this board so folks can track it. But is there anything else on this board in progress, up next, or otherwise that anybody wants to talk about right now? Cool, will do. Anil, I saw your message. I'll move it to the product board. All right, if there's nothing else on the projects list, then we can continue on with the agenda. The next part of the agenda is around discussions. So again, the GitHub discussions is a place where folks can suggest ideas, can talk about things that they want potentially community pool funding for, that they want to put on up for a governance proposal, or just, again, just general conversations. So what we try to do is we try to gauge discussions that we'll talk about during steering committee around those that are here and those discussions that are getting a lot of traction. I would ask again that anybody that has any thoughts or concerns or questions about any of these items can leave comments in the discussion, can upvote, but just get involved so that, again, as we head towards the steering committees or as we're tracking these things to add them to potential roadmap, we're getting community feedback and community thoughts. So that would be terrific. I saw that there was potentially a couple discussions that I wanted to talk about today. I know that there was a member from the DAO team that joined SIG Economics yesterday and gave a really good update on all the work that they're doing over at DAO and how they would like to work more closely with Akash. He started a general discussion with no necessarily call to action, but just like, again, discussion for people to get involved in terms of about DAO and just potential opportunities. So feel free to get involved in that discussion. I know he was here at the beginning of the meeting, has been getting more involved in SIGs and working groups. So again, please feel free to get involved in that discussion. Another discussion that I will just talk about real quick is, I know that Piyush and the Human HQ team have been working with the NetaDAO team to develop a streamlined and more automated pipeline for deploying applications, and they want to do this on CloudMos or console. This is something that they've been working very closely with Anil and the Maxes on. They have recently dropped in a link to a PR that they dropped into and they did a demo at the most recent SIG client that has something that's going to be added to Awesome Akash that makes it easier for people to Dockerize and maintain images. That's phase 1 of this plan. I would ask that anybody, once that gets merged, I would ask that folks from the community start to mess around with, or if they see anybody in the community that is looking to deploy an Akash but doesn't understand the containerization or the Docker piece, if they can point them in the direction of that SDL and get folks from the community interacting with it and then getting them involved in this discussion. But Anil, is there anything that you want to add there? I know we're just talking about this, and I'll make sure that gets added to the product and engineering roadmap as well.
No, I think what you said makes sense. There is a much more detailed discussion about what led up to the SDL. If you click on the link in the first line there, you can just go find it as well. In the comments in here, there's a lot of discussions around why we ended up with that solution, if anybody's curious. We also discussed a lot of this on the last SIG clients and also talked about, the console/CloudMost roadmap and how this fits into that. But yeah, if there's any questions, feel free to hit me or look at the comments there and view the recording of the last SIG clients as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Anil. Cool. I want to make sure, again, we take time for any discussions that have happened since the last meeting that, again, are getting a lot of attention. Is there anybody here that wants to talk about a discussion that they brought forth and they want to hear from the steering committee on? Cool. All right. If not, then again, I'll continue to ask people on this call and people that listen to this recording later to get involved in these discussions. Again, make your voice heard. If something doesn't make sense, that's all right to say that as well, because it doesn't push forward the goals of, again, the Akash Network. But again, please feel free to get involved, especially if you have strong views on any of these items. Cool. If there's no further discussion that anybody wants to have around any of the open discussions, then we can move on to the last part of the agenda around, which is an open discussion. Is there anything that anybody wants to talk about in front of the steering committee right now or in front of the community? Cool. Well, again, I know there's been a lot going on this week with the upgrade, provider upgrades as well. So much appreciated, again, everybody in the community for staying involved in discussions, for being attentive, for updating and upgrading their nodes and their providers if they have them. Please feel free to stay in tune between meetings by looking at the various roadmaps, leaving questions, comments, etc. Please, if anybody wants to get more involved in the core code base, there's a SIG support bi-weekly that happens where, again, members of the core team triage any issues awaiting triage, and then we discuss any open support tickets. So if you have questions about an open issue, or if you want to get involved in solving an open issue, feel free. Andrew, I see your hand up, so feel free to speak.
Yeah, sorry, not about this topic specifically, but rather I've got a bunch of DMs in Telegram about the guys wanting to ask on our website bounty, that they have found bugs, some like middle bugs or like some critic bugs, and they were asking if we are doing a bounty on our site or something like that. Like, where should they forward them, basically?
It's a good question. I know that we have like a semi-formal program. I can follow up, Andrew, with details offline in terms of like a operational plan for where you push people. What we historically have had to do is when somebody submits a bug, we will have to vet it, and in many more cases than not, the thing that they are proposing is not actually a bug. But again, I will follow up with a formal operational procedure over the next like 24 hours so that we can at least push people in a direction.
Yep, awesome, thanks.
Awesome. Are there any other questions or discussions that anybody wants to talk about related to Akash at this time? Cool. Well, again, please feel free to get involved in some of the working groups, some of the special interest groups happening over the next month. Again, look out in Discord and elsewhere for more announcements related to the network upgrade, the provider upgrade, and next steps there. Again, appreciate all the work from members of the core team, validators, providers, everybody in the community for continuing to stay in sync and, again, continuing to work together. So we got people representing and passionate about Akash on all continents, all over the world. And so it's great to see, again, folks stay connected and Akash continuing to grow. So appreciate everybody's time and energy today. Again, I'll follow up with notes, the transcript and the recording very soon. Andrew, I'll follow up with you on that operational plan for those that say they have bugs, and then we'll just continue to stay connected between meetings. And again, feel free to look at the Akash.network website under the development tab in the calendar to stay up to date on all SIGs and working group meetings, and please feel free to join. Again, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you to all that gave updates today, and we'll continue to stay linked up on Discord, Telegram, and elsewhere. But much appreciate everybody. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day.